headlines.
Citi
News.
It's 17:30 GMT. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. I am Umaru Sanda Amadou. Tonight I'm here with
Hawa Idrisu Mustafa.
And coming up over the next 90 minutes, alarming Reuters report suggests Ghanaian security operatives have confirmed that terrorists in Burkina Faso are using Ghana as an operating base. We'll be hearing from security experts who have been watching the space on exactly what the situation is. Also coming up on Eyewitness News tonight, we'll hear from the Public Services Workers Union. They have called off their strike. Why? Have the conditions been met? And later on Eyewitness News, secondary schools are supposed to resume on Wednesday for Form 1 students. The only problem in this particular issue is that Form 1 students, we do not even know who they are because they've not got admissions to secondary schools. There are no postings for senior high schools. So, how come the computerized school selection placement system is yet to place students, and yet the Ghana Education Service has settled on Wednesday for the recall or admission of students? Stay with 97.3 Citi FM for more on this and many other stories on Eyewitness News. And in business,
local businesses urged to focus on import substitution to strengthen Ghana's economy.
That's in 50 minutes from the Citi Business Desk. Eyewitness News is live across Ghana on a number of affiliate stations, including in the Western region on Adwinpa 100.7 FM in Takwa, Beach 105.5 FM in Takrady, in Bono region on Greener 95.9 in Sunyani, in Ashanti region on Focus 94.3 FM in Kumasi, and Orange 107.9 FM also in Kumasi. In Volta region on Revival 99.3 FM in Tajevu and VOV Radio 95.7 in Hohwe. In Northern region on Radio Bimbila 91.9 FM. And in the Upper East region, we're on Quality 88.7 FM in Garu. If you go to the Upper West region, we're on Tongusung 97.3 FM in Wa. And Jirapa, we are live on Jirapa FM 96.1. We're live on YouTube, we're live on Facebook, we are interactive. Join us with your messages. 0549 986 996 0549 986 996. You can send tweets using the hashtag Citi Newsroom. Tweet at Umaru Sanda or at Citi973. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We are coming to you from our studios in Accra, Ghana, and we are live around the globe on citinewsroom.com. My name is Umaru Sanda Amadou, and I'm here with Hawa Idrisu Mustafa. Our first story has to do with what's happening in the northern part or beyond the northern border of Ghana. There's a story that has been published by Reuters, which has been republished by citinewsroom.com. It's titled Islamist Militants Using Northern Ghana as Base for Logistical Support, Sources Review. The story, as published, says Islamist militants fighting in Burkina Faso are discreetly using Ghana's north as a logistical and medical rare base to sustain their insurgency, 7 sources told Reuters, a move that could help them expand the footprint in West Africa. The sources, who include Ghanaian security officials and regional diplomats, said Ghanaian authorities appeared to be mostly turning a blind eye to the insurgents crossing over from the neighboring Burkina Faso to stock up on food, fuel, and even explosives, as well as getting injured fighters treated in hospital. But they said that approach, while so far sparing Ghana from the kind of delayed Islamist attacks that have plagued its neighbors, risk allowing militants to put down roots in the country and recruit in some marginalized local communities. Ghana shares a 600-kilometer, which is a 372-mile border with Burkina Faso, the country at the heart of insurgency that has killed thousands, displaced millions, and according to some experts, turned the Sahel region into the epicenter of global terrorism as factions loyal to Al-Qaeda and Islamic State expand their presence. Burkina Faso has lost control of over half of its territory as a pro-Al-Qaeda group known as JNIM gained ground. This week, the JNIM leader told French broadcaster RFI that it was aiming to push into Ghana, Togo, and Benin. Unlike Benin and Togo, Ghana has not suffered a major attack. Boniface Gambila Adagbila, Ghana's ambassador to Burkina Faso, told Reuters the militants were taking advantage of porous borders and saw Ghana as a, quote, safe haven, but denied suggestions that the authorities had de facto struck a non-aggression pact with the jihadists. He said Ghana was working with Burkina Faso to, quote, flush them out, unquote. Let's go on the phone lines and speak to someone who understands this space more than many. Colonel retired Festus Abuaji is a security analyst. He's joining us on the line. Sir, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you very much, my brother.
This sounds very alarming. Should we be alarmed, or you believe this is an overhyped story?
Did you hear me?
No, I did not.
I say thank you very much, my brother.
Thank you so much, sir. So my question is, should we be alarmed by this story, sir?
Well, sincerely, I'm a bit baffled at the hula value around this story, which I think was published yesterday by Reuters. Because this article is making a reference or references to a research paper that was published by a Dutch research center, Kligendale, if I pronounce it correctly, which was published way back in July this year. So all the points in this Reuters article, which is just a few of the major points raised by Kligendale, is what they are talking about. The nitty-gritty of the issues are very well known to those who follow developments around violent extremism and terrorism, including by national security structures. It is known that the terrorists are here, including in some of our Galamsey sites. It is known that they trade, for instance, in products like beef, cattle, in exchange for other commodities from here. So this idea that explosive devices and components of explosive devices are sourced from Ghana is known. The idea that they are seeking medical treatment was said by our ambassador to Burkina Faso, Ambassador Boniface Adabliga or somebody like that. He told Reuters that the authorities know that they come here for medical and a blind to their presence here. So for the impression to be that it baffles me.
Hello, Kenel? Kenel, can you hear me? Hello? Apologies. Kenel, can you hear me? No, we have a difficulty speaking there to Kenel Festus Abuaji. You try and re-establish connection to him, where we would continue with this particular conversation. But the story, as I was reading there on our website, which is actually quoting this story, or which called this story from Reuters, it continues. It says Ghana, which holds elections on December 7, is seen as a strong democracy and has a close relationship with Western nations, especially the UK and the US, which regularly praise it for its role in promoting peace and security in the region. Now, there's a quote here which says, the absence of real attacks on Ghanaian soil seems to result from GNIM's calculus of not disturbing supply lines and places of rest, as well as not provoking a relatively strong army. This is Kligendale, the Netherlands Institute of International Relations, saying in a report. Let me go back. If you can hear me now, so you are saying that you really have a difficulty swallowing hook, line, saying what the Netherlands Institute is saying, But there's a school of thought that terrorists will not attack where they are operating from, and to the extent that Ghana remains their quote and unquote safe haven, that is why we are safe. How do you then explain why we are safe when they are attacking other places? This sounds like a logical reasoning, don't you think?
It is a very logical reason. I've had occasion to suggest to the Minister for National Security at a certain forum that they have resources that they need to access here. So at this very moment in time, it is not in their interest, strategic interest, that's the terrorists, to attack Ghana or destabilize Ghana for reasons of the benefits that they accrues to them by, coming to Ghana. But the point I'm making is that the issues raised in this Reuters report were originally published by this Dutch institute, Kligendale. The authors of that report include 3 Ghanaians. Our own Nana Brampa collaborated in writing that report. There's another scholar, I can't remember all the 3 names. This Reuters report, I suppose, Akalari Adombila is Ghanaian, who is collaborating with Martin Lewis to write the Reuters report. And I'm saying that all the aspects that are explained or covered in the Reuters report, as in the Kligendale's report, are mundane issues that are known. The idea that there is extremism, violent extremism going on is known. The idea that there is recruitment or attempts to recruit is also known. But if you read carefully, it may not necessarily be, and this is a point that our ambassador to Burkina Faso was saying, who disagreed with the notion that Ghana has entered into some kind of agreement with the terrorists. Now let's recall that agreements don't have to be written on paper. Agreements can be also in actions or policies or whatever, which is what the Kligendale paper was looking at. The linkages between 3 types of insecurities in Ghana, or what they call vulnerabilities, including chieftaincy dispute, including land dispute, and including terrorism. And they have a map that has mapped out or plotted the combination of these 3 types of, vulnerabilities in the northern part of Ghana. And the research methodology explains how they were looking at the nature of Ghana's politics, which they said is strong anyway, but on the other hand, only accrue short-term benefits, that in the long term, and I made this point in a conversation with a certain ambassador yesterday, that in principle, a state actor must not enter into anything that looks like an agreement with a non-state actor. And the point is in this paper that similar arrangements were entered into around 2012-2015 between Malian authorities and the jihadists. In the long run, they overran, if you like, Timbuktu. Similar arrangements were made between the jihadists and the Burkinabe authorities. We know that that is history, and that these jihadists control about 50 to 60% of the landmass of Burkina Faso. So therefore, there is empirical evidence that looking elsewhere, standing by, and tacitly agreeing for terrorists to come in and out, and you deciding when to arrest them, when not to arrest them, and saying that you have been conducting exercise. When was the last time that this exercise took place? In any case, I don't think in recent times that exercise has taken place, because we have placed Burkina Faso under sanctions. And Ghana is in the lead all the time, reporting on Burkina Faso and its collaboration with Russia. So that explanation is only to give the semblance that, the paper is flawed, and I think Ambassador or Honorable Bombande argued elsewhere that it is not accurate. Some parts may not be accurately interpreted But in principle, I agree with the trend of thought of the writers and all the extrapolations that they may or may not have done. I think the best thing we can do is to sit up, and be careful that we don't become like Burkina Faso and Mali, to be surprised one day when the people no longer need the safe havens that we are providing them because they already control enough, and then start attacking us.
So you are saying that a lot of the issues are not really new. Therefore, we don't really need to panic. The underlying facts have always been reiterated, and so this report is perhaps just doing the same thing. Now, in the wake of this report, then, it could serve as a reminder, now that we are being reminded of the state of affairs and what could possibly befall us, what does government need to start doing? And if indeed it is true, which has not been proven, that there's some agreement of a sort, can you make a deal with the devil using that advisedly?
In principle, the principle that I alluded to is that state actors must not seem to be collaborating with non-state actors unless they are going to arrive at a substantive agreement to stop the violence. But to enter into an agreement that buys you time, that is you time, not the sub-region, not your neighbors. Remembering that we cannot be an island of stability in an ocean of instability. That policy, if you can call it that, or that strategy, which I called yesterday in my Facebook post, a tacit acquiescence to this kind of agreement, is not going to help us. What I think is happening, because on a sister station at midday, I heard the journalist, I don't think I need to mention her name, saying that national security was in a meeting or emergency meeting or crisis meeting. Now, that is only to save the image of Ghana. Because of the timing of this report, with a few weeks to elections, any sense that there is going to be instability or there is instability in Ghana might not augur well. But you come back to the dynamics of the vulnerabilities that plague India has mentioned. They are still there. Boku is there. The land disputes are there. The chieftaincy disputes are there. The terrorism is also there. The violent extremism, the recruitment are also happening. So rather than trying to save our face or faces, we should now be serious, you see, and try to address, if we may call it, the root causes of this instability in the West African region. It's not too late. It's never too late. We might have lost time. But then let me also suggest, because in discussions with other people, I've tried to, be asking, if at all, why Ghana should adopt this position. By looking at trends in this sub-region, the idea that the West is influencing some of the coastal Guinea states to adopt certain postures aimed at, if you like, destabilizing the neighboring countries that are under military regime or regimes. And I say that about Niger. I say that about Burkina Faso. I say that about Mali. We should not fall into the trap. We cannot choose our neighbors, but we can choose our friends. So Burkina Faso is going to be there forever and ever and ever as our neighbor. We should not allow anybody who is not part of this continent that we call Africa or the sub-region of West Africa to tell us how to relate to our neighbors and to serve their interests. After all, what are they looking for? They are looking for access to, natural resources and energy and so on. That's their main strategic interest, to get rid of the military regimes and then to be able to bring in, excuse my language, stooges that will allow all manner of arrangements, to take place. That should not be the basis of our strategy.
Finally, before you go, because you mentioned Boko, I just want to pick your thought briefly. We are told that there's some fresh violence. In fact, the running mate of the NDC had to postpone or pull out of the area because of recent developments. I don't know if you followed that and you want to comment on that before we go.
Well, I read that story very, very briefly on social media. That was a very terse statement by somebody who posted on Facebook. And the gist of it is that the rival chief is in town. Now, who is this rival chief? This is a rival chief who was installed quietly, was it last year or a couple of years ago, who has now arrived in Boku itself. It has now, energized, re-energized or caused this kind of conflagration. The timing is suspicious. Why that rival chief must be allowed to come to Boku at this time? You see, it's very, it's suspicious. But once again, in our kind of democracy, our governments don't owe it as a responsibility to tell us what is going on. Everything that happens is the instruments of power, like the armed forces or some security forces, who must come and tell us why they are doing what they are doing. Not the government that had the constitutional mandate to deploy them. So this one case, this Boku case, is one that requires the government to make a public announcement and explain the dynamics and the circumstances under which the rival chief from Nalerigo or wherever he was arrived in Boku and has now reignited, this conflict, as I said before, a few days or a few weeks to elections. Because whatever happens in Boku might have synergies with destabilization in other parts or tension or political violence in other parts of the country, including Accra, beyond the confines of what we describe geographically as Boku.
Thank you so much for speaking to us, sir.
Thanks for having me, my brother.
That's Colonel Retired Festus Abuaji. He's a security analyst. Let's speak to Palgrave Boachi Dankwa. He's government spokesperson on security. Palgrave, you're welcome to Eyewitness News. Have you seen this report on Burkina Faso or terrorists from Burkina Faso using Ghana as a base for operating, and how does the government react? Palgrave? Apologies, I lost Palgrave there. Let me bring some of your messages while trying to re-establish connection to him. Akapol Jr. from Ahafomim says, our soldiers who are known to be rendering support to these militant groups must be ousted from the security services as they stand a great threat to the peace and security of our nation. Jones Adboy in La says, isn't it an irony? We only get serious with our security when elections are here. The government can't deploy military to Volta region but turns a blind eye to serious security issues like this. JM 2024. Seriously, Ghanaians are not angry enough. Let me go back. Palgrave Boachi Dankwa is back on the line. He's government spokesperson on security. Palgrave, I was asking if this report has come to the attention of government and what's the reaction. Festus Abuaji is just saying there that earlier today there was a report about a national security meeting over this issue. What happened?
So, Mauro, I would like to greet you and greet your listeners and viewers. I just state that, yes, earlier this morning, I was in a meeting with the Sector Minister for National Security, and the issues that have arisen has no indications that our country is under threat at all. And would want to put out very clearly that Walter's story is leading. Doesn't represent the fears that they are putting into the system.
So what are the facts?
Well, so the indications that we have is what I've put out there. That,
so the question would be that why do you have such a publication from a very respected international news agency like Reuters then? What could be happening? There's no smoke without fire, they say. Is there a case that this particular one, there's no fire, indeed, but there's a smoke?
But the statement that Reuters is making is that there are residents, and there isn't that at all in this country. Every now and then we have people who travel from Burkina Faso to come into Ghana, either to do trade or to pick up things from the harbor. And so there are instances where oftentimes if they are not able to have high trucks, and the trucks are charging very huge amounts from the government in Burkina Faso. You'll find that they would use official vehicles of that nature. And so we allowed them to be able to come in to pick up whatever things that they need at the ports and then send back into their country. So the story is not what it's representative.
Does it mean then that government is not going to do anything because it's a story that is not worth your time?
Well, I mean, government is very clear on the borders control that we have put in. There are a lot more surveillance at the various border towns in the country, up in the northern sector of the country. They are deployed drones as well that are working, and so we receive daily situational reports that puts us very much prepared ahead of every other issue.
Finally, before you go, let's talk briefly about Boko, about the developments we are hearing about there. What does government know, and what's government's plan?
Well, Boko is a very beautiful town. We know that there are issues that have been ongoing in relation to the chieftaincy issues, the chiefs that were installed, how various sides have been wanting to cause dissatisfaction. We've received intelligence of that nature that one of the chiefs has gone into a particular environment, and we are on standby to ensure that the ripple effect of that and the fallout of that does not become enormous. And so government has moved in very strongly. So I'm aware from indications from my briefing this morning that we are in the environment where the chief is to ensure that law and order prevail, and that life and livelihoods are not lost as a result of some of the misunderstandings that would arise.
Thank you so much for speaking to us, sir.
Thank you, Mauro.
That's Palgrave Boachi Dankwa, his government spokesperson on security. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We are coming to you from our studios in Accra. Njoya Bright in Nottinghamshire in the United Kingdom says the military in Ghana, instead of protecting the territorial integrity of our country, is being used to intimidate citizens under a dictator. Kweku from Yocho says, did I hear the man say that these militants are involved in Galamsey? Oh, I didn't hear right. I think you heard that right. You can also send your message 0549 986 996. We'll take a break. When we come back, we would have more on other stories that we have an eye on here in the Citi Newsroom.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
So Hadia Wache didn't come today too?
Her doctor just left here. She said Hadia went to the hospital and they found out she has malaria.
Why? Doesn't she sleep under an insecticide-treated net?
Madam, as for the net, sleeping under is uncomfortable.
Oh, please. The treated net works, Papa. If you sleep under it every night and throughout the night.
Oh, yes. When you get it fresh, remove and dry it for at least 2 or more days in the shade. And make sure you tuck it under the bed or mat properly. Then you sleep under it.
During the day, tie or roll it nicely to prevent damage and sew up every small hole you find in it.
When your treated net gets dirty, wash it gently with mild bar soap and hang it under the shade to dry. It can be washed 20 times and can last 3 years.
Wow, but the heat?
The heat is mostly from our room. Either our windows are too small or closed. Just open for air to enter.
Follow the process of caring for the insecticide-treated net and sleeping under it. Let's all come on board Good Life to eliminate malaria now. Good Life. Live it well. It's an everyday thing. This message is brought to you by Ghana Health Service and partners with support from USAID.
Malaria away. Good life. Live it well.
Please, how much is the rice?
It depends on size, no. 5 kilogram, no. And no for 120 Ghana cedis.
120 Ghana cedis?
Ayo, right now, the importers are complaining about the high dollar rate, taxes, and import duties. So they have also increased prices. You can ask around.
But this same bag was 25 Ghana cedis in 2016, if I'm not mistaken.
You see, elections have consequences. Today, when you complain, government says Russia and Ukraine war.
And you are forgetting COVID-19.
One bag of cement in John Dramani Mahame's time, 2016, was 24 cedis. But now, it has crossed 100 Ghana cedis under the NPP. The dollar was 4 cedis under Mahama. But today, it is 16 Ghana cities under the watch of Mr. Economic Fundamentals. These are the people who told us that Yetisikaso and accommodate.
Hey, Erade, ya too ababoni all the sweet promises have turned out to be 419.
Madam, we are all suffering. Oh. We really need a tried and tested, experienced and visionary leader who can reset our country and lead us to build the Ghana we all want.
Vote for change. Vote for John Dramani Mahama and the NDC.
All right. Oh, jump on now. Go. Gugomi, at what time will you come back where I don't hear the sound of your car? Why you buy new car? No, I don't change my car. It be the same, right? It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, it's so. This is the type of fuel where they want to. Because now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, it go protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I'll go drive, sir. Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. And what they bust my mindset be the 3-in-1 action. No, Excellium they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. Won't pay when I open there. Hey, so where can I find this magical fuel? Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you. Hey, then make a finish my gobe fast, then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why your hand my gobe inside? I give you info. Make a fill the gobe too small. Go. Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
If home is where the heart is, then let's go home, shall we? Let's go where the entertainment is, where the passion is, where the laughter is, and sometimes even the tears too. Let's go where we feel safe enough to share our opinions
and send tweets,
where we do that embarrassing little dance to our favorite song. Let's go home where the love, the care, and the joy live.
There's no place like home. Connect your home to super fast internet with affordable data bundles from MTN Home. Visit broadband.mtn.com.gh or your My MTN app to sign up today. MTN.
Hi, Aku. I just got the estimate for the home repairs. It's more than we expected. I'm really stressed about where to find the money.
Why worry, Musa? You are a salaried worker. Haven't you heard about the GCB personal loan promo? They can give you up to 700,000 Ghana cedis in less than 24 hours at a significantly reduced interest rate and fees.
Really? This sounds exciting, but is it easy to apply?
Super easy. Skip the stress. Get the cash with the GCB personal loan promo with a 1-month repayment holiday. Just visit a GCB bank branch near you or call 0302-634-922. Toll free 0800-422-422. No hassle, no stress.
Wow, I just got a notification. The loan is already in my account. That was fast.
Skip the stress and get the cash you need with GCB personal loan. Visit a branch near you today. Terms and conditions apply. GCB Bank, your bank for life.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back. This Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We are coming to you from our studios here in Accra. My name is Umaru Sandamadu, doing this tonight with Hawa Idris. So let's talk about the elections now. It's a few weeks to election 2024. The Electoral Commission has started printing ballot papers. The political parties are by convention, I believe, or is it by law, mandated to have representatives. The NDC has reps at all the printing centers, and now NDC is saying there's a challenge at one of these particular centers. The Deputy Director of Elections for the NDC is Dr. Rashid Tanko Computer. He's joined us on the line. Doc, you're welcome to Eyewitness News. Talk to us about this center. What's the problem there?
Thank you. Let me say good evening to you, Sanda, and your cherished listeners. Actually, we have issues with the Yasako printing press. since Sunday, when we started this printing of the ballot papers, we've deployed our party agents for the morning session, afternoon session, and the evening session, but no shoe. Every day we go there, our agents are sleeping there, no shoe. It appears they have capacity problem, and we don't understand. They are not telling us. The EC2 is not forthcoming with information as to why they are keeping us there and they are not giving us any output.
When you say nothing, so absolutely nothing is happening, or is printing but it's slow?
No, nothing is happening. Completely nothing. I mean, we're made to understand that they sent their samples and it was rejected. They came back, did another sample. Why should they have that difficulty? Because we sign off. We went to the EC and signed off the sample. So why should they have difficulties over the sign off ballot papers that we give to them? That is one thing we don't understand.
When were they supposed to start the printing? Which day?
In fact, we started on Sunday.
So all printing presses started on Sunday.
As we speak now, some of them are virtually almost halfway through their consignment. They are supposed to print, and so far so good.
But Yasako has not printed a single ballot.
Yasako has not printed a single ballot, and we think that the EC should terminate the contract from them, because we cannot jeopardize the electoral process with this kind of this attitude from them.
What are they saying though in their defense?
They are very careful. They are mute over it. They are not saying anything. They are not giving us any indication. The EC2 is mute about it. We want the EC to come forward and tell us something about it. Either they are taking the contract from them, because as we look at the way things are going, I doubt whether they can print any ballot paper over there. It appears they have a capacity problem and their machines are challenged. I should think so.
You think they have a capacity issue? Do they have a track record of printing though?
Well, they used to print ballots previously, and that is why we don't understand. And we are raising these questions because the EC at least should come forward and tell us something about it. They used to, but so what is happening this year? Why? Their colleagues, even new entrants to the printing press, are doing fantastic job, and they've been old hands, and we don't know what is happening.
Very well, thank you. But before you go, we are hearing that your running mate in the Upper East region had to cancel her engagements. Do you have that information to share with us as to why?
I'm yet to get briefing from my colleagues from the other end. I mean, as to speak now, we don't have a briefing from it.
Very well.
But we do know that everything is going on well successfully in the region.
Thank you so much for speaking to us.
I'm grateful.
That's Deputy Director of Elections for the National Democratic Congress, Dr. Rashid Tanko Computer. How are you? Have other stories, don't you?
Right. Deputy Chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Dr. Bosman Asari, has expressed concern over the low participation of women in this year's general election. Speaking at a forum on the 2024 elections at Winneba in the Central Region, which was attended by clergy leaders and political parties, Dr. Asari highlighted that out of over 800 parliamentary candidates nationwide, only 120 are women. He noted that despite lowering their filing fee for female and physically challenged candidates, participation among women remains discouraging.
The Electoral Commission, we've made it a point that we are trusting God to see us through a very, very successful election. However, we are also doing all the hard work that is necessary to ensure that we achieve that. So currently, as we speak now, the Electoral Commission has completed a chunk of the processes. We've done our registration, we've done our exhibition. We had a second version of the exhibition which we concluded on Saturday. We've done the nomination exercise, and as you may be aware, in this year's nomination, the filing fee for female candidates and persons with disabilities will reduce it by 25%. So for the presidential election, male candidates pay 100,000 Ghana cedis, and female candidates and persons with disabilities pay 75,000 Ghana cedis. And for the parliamentary elections, the male candidates pay 10,000 Ghana cedis, and the female candidates and persons with disabilities also pay 7,500. The main idea was to encourage more women to take part in the process. But unfortunately, the numbers that came were not very, very encouraging. So far, for the parliament, we are having about 830 or so candidates. only about 120 of them are female. So that's about 13%.
Deputy Chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Dr. Bosman Asari. Now, the father of 10-year-old Ishmael Mensa Abdallah, who was murdered in Kaswa by two boys for alleged money rituals, is urging the Ministry of Information to take immediate action against television stations advertising money doubling schemes. He believes these adverts motivate young people to engage in criminal acts, which ultimately led to his son's tragic death. Yesterday, the court sentenced Nicholas Kinney to life imprisonment, while the other suspect was sent to juvenile court for sentencing. Frank Mensa Abdallah is calling on the Ministry of Information to intensify its efforts to clamp down on such stations.
Na achire ma na omo ba no next time obi nkoye sabon ni bio ko because me yan koyi na ko mfa TV so nanka obiara hu se ade ankora ya next time no okoya ehu beka no se me koya bia say ne ebe me say ne ebe.
The government must embark on an exercise to clamp down on radio stations that advertise money rituals and money doubling. I remember the Minister of Information began an earlier exercise. It ought to be intensified to deal with stations that are into such practices. This will prevent others from engaging in such acts.
You discover mema we say we say me say and one just akunkuma kumonya adwemfi no e de ba omode mankwara no omode disa abro we nyina no.
That was the father of 10-year-old Ishmael Mensa Abdallah, who was murdered in Kaswa by two boys for money rituals.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Please, how much is the rice?
It depends on size, no. 5 kilogram, no. And no for 120 Ghana cedis.
120 Ghana cedis?
Ayo, right now, the importers are complaining about the high dollar rates, taxes, and import duties. So they have also increased prices. You can ask around.
But this same bag was 25 Ghana cedis in 2016, if I'm not mistaken.
You see, elections have consequences. Today, when you complain, government says Russia and Ukraine war.
And you are forgetting COVID-19.
One bag of cement in John Dramani Mahama's time, 2016, was 24 cedis, but now it has crossed 100 Ghana cedis under the NPP. The dollar was 4 cedis under Mahama, but today it is 16 Ghana cedis under the watch of Mr. Economic Fundamentals. These are the people who told us that Yetisikaso and accommodate.
Hey, Erade, Yakto Ababoni, all the sweet promises have turned out to be 419.
Madam, we are all suffering. We really need a tried and tested, experienced and visionary leader who can reset our country and lead us to build the Ghana we all want.
Vote for change. Vote for John Dramani Mahama and the NDC.
All right. National Health Insurance.
Hello there! I have great news for you. Registration for the National Health Insurance Scheme, NHIS, just got faster and easier with the new NHIS mobile app. Grab your smartphones and download the My NHIS app from the Play Store or App Store for instant enrollment onto the NHIS. All you need is your Ghana card. Yes, just your Ghana card. Enjoy amazing benefits like registering family, friends, and groups with easy payments from your mobile money wallet or bank debit cards. Link NHIS card to the Ghana card for yourself and others, renewing your membership with ease and locating the nearest NHIS credentialed facility, all on My NHIS app. Get to know the benefit package and over 500 medicines covered by the NHIS with a simple click on My NHIS app, so you do not fall prey to paying extra charges at healthcare facilities. Communicate directly with the NHIS through the new messaging module available on the app. Embrace convenience. Let's go digital with NHIS. Download the My NHIS app today and enjoy seamless access to healthcare. Terms and conditions apply. For details, contact the NHIS call center on 054 444 6447 or 0302 746 447. NHIS, your access to healthcare. This message is brought to you by the United States Agency for International Development, USAID.
If home is where the heart is, then let's go home, shall we? Let's go where the entertainment is, where the passion is, Where the laughter is. And sometimes even the tears too. Let's go where we feel safe enough to share our opinions.
And send tweets.
Where we do that embarrassing little dance to our favorite song. Let's go home where the love, the care, and the joy live.
There's no place like home. Connect your home to super fast internet with affordable data bundles from MTN Home. Visit broadband.mtn.com.gh or your My MTN app to sign up today. MTN.
Wow, I just love jet fighters.
Sis, I think you should join the combat unit of the Ghana Armed Forces.
Me? I don't know how to do busha busha.
There's so much more to it than that.
But seriously, what will I be doing in the combat unit?
You can be a rescue helicopter pilot, captain warships, be a sniper, lead troops during peacekeeping, so much more.
Do you think I have what it takes?
Yes, girl. I know you have what it takes.
Ladies, consider a career in the combat unit of the Ghana Armed Forces and help keep the world in order. Visit govonline.mail.gh today for details. This is a Ghana Armed Forces initiative supported by the Women, Youth, Peace and Security Institute of the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center and sponsored by the ELSI Initiative Fund.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We are coming to you from our studios here in Accra. Neodigni Atukwekwe from Accra says, we are begging the government not to joke with our security or play politics with it. They shouldn't be lazy in their approach to combating terrorism. Al-Maso in Abelinkwe says, is the Ministry of National Security going to ask Reuters to show real evidence or retract, please? Hashtag Eyewitness News. This is Eyewitness News. My name is Umaru Sanda. I'm here with Hawa Idrisu. Hawa, what else do you have for us?
Right, Sanda. NPP flag bearer Dr. Mohamedou Bawumia has stated that the implementation of the free senior high school policy demonstrates the party's commitment to fulfilling its promises. Speaking at a campaign rally at Sogakope in the Volta region, the vice president stressed the NPP's belief in making possibilities a reality and urged Ghanaians to trust the party to deliver on its commitments.
We are a party of possibilities. When we say it is possible, it is possible. When we said we wanted to do 3 SHS, they told us it was not possible, but we said it is possible, and we made it happen. Today, 5.7 million children have got free senior high school education.
He had NPP flag bearer Dr. Mohamedou Bawumia. The National Association of Graduate Teachers (NAGRAT) has given the Isiojaman Education Directorate and the headmaster of Akwemuman Senior High School a 5-day ultimatum to lift the embargo on July and August salaries of some teachers at the school. This action follows allegations of victimization and salary suspensions for certain teachers due to their non-attendance at the Professional Learning Community Program. Now, the program, introduced by the government about 8 years ago, serves as a tool for professional development, allowing teachers to earn credit points for continuous professional development to improve their understanding, knowledge, skills, and expertise. Speaking at the NAGRAT Secretariat in Gofreidia, Eastern Regional Chairman Godwin Awunoyevu described these actions as counterproductive.
By inviting them to the offices to explain why sanctions should not be leveled against them, we urge school administrators, policymakers to take immediate action to address this issue. Preferably, we are asking the Ghana Education Service to take this as an urgent measure to ensure that our headmasters and headmistresses, including the district directors and principal directors, to desist from the victimization and harassment of teachers who fails to attend the PLC and CPD sections. Teachers should not be punished for not attending PLC sessions, especially if they have valid reasons for not being able to attend. Instead, efforts should be made to accommodate their schedules and ensure that they are able to participate in these important sections. Together, we can create a more supportive and positive work environment for teachers.
Eastern Regional Chairman of the National Association of Graduate Teachers, that is Godwin Awunoyevu.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. Citi Business News. Be informed.
Time now for Citi Business News on Eyewitness News. My name is Hawa Idrisu Mustafa. Details now. Senior economics lecturer at the University of Ghana, Dr. Priscilla Chumesi-Bafo, is advising businesses to stay clear of politically sensitive activities. Her remarks follow the growing global emphasis on environmental, social and governance principles, with Ghanaian businesses increasingly feeling the pressure to adopt responsible and sustainable practices. Speaking to journalists on the sidelines of the 2024 KPMG Africa CEO's Outlook, Dr. Chumesi-Bafo encouraged businesses in Ghana to be cautious when engaging in politically sensitive activities as they work towards compliance with emerging ESG standards.
Elections come with uncertainties and to some extent opportunities as well. And so essentially, how do businesses build resilience and not be too susceptible to political interferences? I believe they need to not to be too involved in politically sensitive activities, politically sensitive value chains, because if indeed you are and there happens to be a change which doesn't favor the business, then it means that the business doesn't thrive. And so essentially we are looking for businesses that are resilient regardless of which government is in power. And I think that is the discussion that we need to focus on going forward. And essentially what is required is a solid macroeconomic fundamentals, as we've indicated.
Dr. Priscilla Chumesi also called for measures to address import dependencies, which have a rippling effect on the economy when there are global disruptions.
We know issues in the Middle East have the tendency to escalate cost of fuel that can lead to increase in cost of living because it will be translated into transportation costs, it will be translated through electricity, food, and the cycle goes on and on. And so for me, we need to get back to basics and build on the very basic fundamentals so that to a large extent we reduce our extent of import dependence. And when that happens, no matter how political tensions rise, you feel that you are insulated somehow in your local economy. But as it stands, we are heavily dependent on external sources. And that means that a lot of the indicators are out of our hands.
Dr. Priscilla Chumesi-Bafo, a senior economics lecturer at the University of Ghana. A senior research associate with Imani Africa, Dennis Asari, has emphasized the urgent need to strengthen the audit functions of ministries, departments, and agencies. This comes as financial irregularities continue to rise due to weak internal audit functions in various MDAs. Dennis Asari indicates that financial infractions identified in the Auditor General's report, such as unsupported payment and fraudulent withdrawals, could be prevented with more active involvement of internal auditors in financial decisions.
Recommendation is that we see a breakdown in the internal audit function, which means that if internal auditors were actually really working, some of these things would have been addressed. And so internal auditors must be given that power to play all the necessary role that they need to play within our PFM system so that we can stem the bleeding and address some of this fiscal indiscipline. GRA has embarked on a lot of digitization of tax collection instruments. This is the time for us to accelerate and use them effectively to address the tax irregularities, given that that is the major source of financial irregularities in the Auditor General's report.
That was a senior research associate with Imani Africa, Dennis Asari. Amidst a challenging economic landscape, leading business stakeholders are urging the swift and full implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Area as a strategic move to drive economic resilience and unlock growth opportunities across the continent. They emphasize that after as trade tool holds the key to transforming Africa's business landscape by fostering intra-African trade, boosting industrialization and creating jobs. Abdallah Ibrahim, Acting Human Resource Officer at MTN Ghana, shared these insights during the MTN Business Executive Breakfast meeting in Accra.
If you look at examples where regional trade is good, the Eurozone is a good example of how you can implement a good cross-border trade. It includes free movement of people. It also includes all the barriers around import, exports. All of that will be taken away, and it opens the market really for a lot of things to happen. And if you remember, what we said was that for SMEs specifically, that is a big market that we can open for SMEs to become multinationals, because otherwise we have them constricted within the same economy. The challenges that we have, the limited opportunities that we have in the economy, and really they don't have opportunity to grow. But if we really want to grow the SME sector, I think programs like the AFTAC is an example of, if it works, an example of how we can open up the West African, especially sub-region, really to grow businesses and to get businesses to extend their products beyond where they are currently.
That was the Acting Human Resource Manager at MTN Ghana, Abdallah Ibrahim. With political campaigns wrapping up ahead of the upcoming elections, the Advertising Association of Ghana is calling on political parties to prioritize local agencies in their ad campaigns. The association argues that this approach will not only support private sector growth, but also inject much-needed capital into the local advertising industry, an industry with the potential to create jobs and drive economic resilience. In an interview with Citi Business News, Andrew Aka, president of the Advertising Association of Ghana, underscored the sector's role in growing the economy.
I'm an advocate for all brands and, for all persons who desire to advertise in this country to use for agencies and local suppliers and local vendors, because we do have the capacity. We do have the skill. People have invested, decades of their money and the skill and the sweat into this industry. And there's very little that you can task any agency or vendor or any person that they would not be able to, to supply you. So I would say, I would always encourage, use the agencies, understand how they work, know how they can help you to fulfill the objectives, and you'll be happy you did.
Andrew Aka is president of the Advertising Association of Ghana, ending Citi Business News on Eyewitness News. My name is Hawa Idrisu Mustafa. Up next is Point Blank.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News. Ifya, I've been thinking. Have you noticed the changes in our community?
Kojo, things are really different now. The MPP has really made a difference.
Exactly. Free SHS, healthcare, new factories. It's like a whole new Ghana.
And don't forget, electricity is so much reliable now. I remember when we used to go days without light.
True. The NPP has done a lot to improve the basics.
Ajua is a beneficiary of free SHS, and now she is in university.
And that's the kind of leadership we need. Someone who is focused on making things better for everyone. But Ifya, still there are a lot more to be done for the development of Ghana.
Absolutely, Kojo. The MPP has shown that real progress is possible.
On December 7th, let's vote to keep this positive impact going. Vote number 1 on the ballot. Vote NPP for a better and prosperous Ghana.
Oh, jump on now.
Go. Google me. Now, what time will you come back where I don't hear the sound of your car? Why you buy new car?
No, I not change my car. It be the same ride. It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, it's so.
This is the type of fuel where they want to. Because now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, it go protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I go drive, sir.
Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. And what they bust my mind, Seth, be the 3-in-1 action, no? Excellium, they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. Won't pay when I open them.
Hey, so where can I find this magical fuel?
Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you.
Hey, then make a finish my gobe fast, then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why your hand my gobe inside?
I give you info. Make a fill the gobe too small.
Go.
Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
If home is where the heart is, then let's go home, shall we? Let's go where the entertainment is, where the passion is, where the laughter is, and sometimes even the tears too. Let's go where we feel safe enough to share our opinions.
And send tweets.
Where we do that embarrassing little dance to our favorite song. Let's go home where the love, the care, and the joy live.
There's no place like home. Connect your home to super fast internet with affordable data bundles from MTN Home. Visit broadband.mtn.com.gh or your My MTN app to sign up today. MTN.
From the classroom to the lab, from the village to the city, the NPP's commitment to education is building a brighter Ghana. Free SHS isn't just about free tuition, it's an investment in Ghana's future. We have topped it up with free TVET and STEM education, skilled graduates, innovative thinkers, and a thriving economy. That's the promise of free SHS.
3 of my cousins have benefited from free SHS since 2017. One has graduated and is in nursing training. The other 2 are also in the university. I'll vote number 1. I'll vote for Baumia on December 7th.
We are building a better tomorrow through education. Vote NPP. Vote number 1. Vote Baumia. Baumia means business. Esro.
Are you feeling tired after a hard day's work? Have you lost your appetite even for your favorite dish? Viral Blood Tonic is a nutritionally balanced, pleasant-tasting tonic fortified with iron and vitamins to boost your appetite and energy levels for high performance. Viral Blood Tonic, easy to take and good for the whole family. Viral from Danex Iting Starwin PLC. If symptoms persist after 48 hours, consult a physician. This advert is FDA approved.
Kibo Huts Pepe. Kibo Huts Pepe. Set up on Quanya. Get Brian Pop. Spaghetti, noodles, fire shit.
the powder. Loco shoe. This advert is FDA approved.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
I think it's concerning, especially where we have literally 3 working days to the development date of 30th. And as far as it's concerning, it's important for parents to prepare and prepare adequately, and be ready to provide the necessary support to their wards in real time. Today is Friday, and we still don't have the school postings out. And so, let's say, even if it comes after the weekend, we'll still have only Monday and Tuesday. Because Wednesday, if my calculation is right, Wednesday is supposed to be 30th. So, it's a very, very tight schedule. It's never the ideal situation. I would have expected that at least some communication would have come from the GES between the time the academic calendar was announced and now, so that people will know what is actually going on. But as I said, within the circumstances where we find ourselves, parents will have to prepare. The month has ended, so those who are getting their salaries should be mindful that whether the notice is short or not, their kids will be going to school middle of next week, and they have to do that adequate preparation.
So that's Kofi Asari of the Africa Education Watch speaking to us earlier in the day about the situation in senior high schools. So the story is that BEC candidates just got their results not long ago. They have to be placed in senior high schools to enable them enjoy the free senior high school. However, with school to be reopened just on this Wednesday, I mean, that should be 4 or 5 days away. BEC candidates or people who have just finished writing the BEC do not know which secondary schools they are going to. Let's speak to the teachers first, and then speak to a member of parliament who has interest in education, and then we'll ask the GES for answers. Let's speak to National President of the National Association of Graduate Teachers, Nagrat, Angel Kabonu. You're welcome to Eyewitness News, sir.
Hello?
Yes, Angel, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Yeah, thank you.
So, the school reopens on Wednesday. You don't know which students you are going to admit. It sounds bizarre, doesn't it?
Well, it is out of the ordinary, and let us not forget that there were some challenges with payment matters, and which also, I'm sure, subsequently influenced the time that the results were, or affected the time that the results were released. So we hope and pray that maybe the placement will come out this weekend. But that placement also has its own blues. It is not as if placement comes out and everything is okay. Now, before the juggling will begin, people are accepting their placement, and people refusing the placement, people wanting to go to other schools other than the ones that they were posted to, and blah, blah, blah. So it's going to be a little bit challenging, but like always happens, we should be able to cross the bridge.
Why are we reopening school before knowing who is going to school? Does that happen? Is that how it happens regularly in the past? What's forcing us?
I don't think that is what happens, and absolutely not acceptable situation. Usually, results are released, placement is done, parents have some time to prepare. Let us not forget that there are certain items that are attuned to specific schools. So parents have to prepare and all that. So, they'll go to school. Those who
Angela, I'm losing you. Angela, I'm losing you.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes. So, like I said, the early birds will go, and then the others will follow.
Do you not have a uniform calendar that you work with so that if school resumes on Wednesday, there will be some activities and then you begin lectures or classes? If Wednesday is the day they start and yet there are people who have to go through the self-placement, some people have to get provisions and get books and all of those before they go to school, or as soon as a list is published, you just take your bath and go to school. Is that what's supposed to be?
Well, that's also going to be a little bit challenging. The centralized system of admission solved only one problem, but transferred the problem. That is the accusation that was there in the past that headmasters and headmistresses were collecting monies from parents before they offer them admission. It solved that problem, but I don't think it has solved all the problems. I've always been saying that we should stop categorizing senior high schools into category A, B, and C. We should stop that. That is an admission of failure. That is an admission that by our own system, we do know that we have perpetually committed certain schools into standard performance. We should not do that. It is the same graduates who are in school A that are in school B. It is the same curriculum that is being taught. So, with the same standard of supervision and operations, why do we categorize schools as category A, B, or C? Number two, if certain schools are performing than other schools, it behoves on us as managers of education to ensure that we put in the proper rubrics to ensure that all other schools perform as good as the schools that everybody wants to go. And it ought to be a mission that should be carried by all of us. So that the problem is just because people prefer their children to go to certain senior high schools. And that begins to create a lot of pressure in schools that creates the problem.
So the solution, have headmasters made any decision? Do you at your end as teachers need to do anything, or you just wait and see those who show up, you teach them, and that's all?
Hello, Omar, I'm losing you a little bit.
Apologies for that. I'm saying that as headmasters...
Hello?
Can you hear me, Angel?
Yeah, Omar, it looks as if the networks these days are not stable at all.
Angel, can you hear me? Angel, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
So I'm saying that as headmasters and teachers, for you just have to wait. Whoever shows up, you pass them through. Have there been any official communication from GES to you in relation to?
No, not yet. The question is, if schools reopen, the mandatory date for the reopening, the headmasters and the teachers will be there. Whoever shows up, we admit and let the people. But if the numbers are very small in the first few days, then they will have to wait for the others to join them.
Well, before you go, let me bring or get your views on another story which relates to you, actually, that you are asking the Sojaman Education Directorate and the headmaster of the Akwemoman Senior High School, you're giving him 5-day ultimatum to lift an embargo on July and August salaries of some teachers. Can you throw more light on that? What happened?
Yes, the Akwemoman headmaster or any other headmaster does not have the authority to lay embargo on salaries. The person who has the authority to lay embargo on salaries is the employer. And when Professor Pokwa Mankwa was there as Director General, he wrote a letter and made this clear to district directors, regional directors, and heads of schools. If you feel the offense of a teacher around the laying embargo on salary, you ought to take orders from the employer. We have a lot of teachers who are now struggling for their salaries to be reinstated, and it is becoming a Herculean problem. In the case of Akwemumai, according to the headmaster, those teachers did not attend professional learning community activity. Therefore, he's placing salary, and he placed a salary on them from July. I mean, who gave him that authority to do that? He does not have the authority to do it.
But I thought controller pays your salaries into your accounts. How did the headmaster manage to?
Yeah, but you see, but when a head writes, you see, controller is always interested in keeping in protecting the public purse. So when the headmaster writes, controller assumes that something serious is happening, and his first action is to place embargo on the salary. The controller will not be blamed because the person who wrote is the person who should be blamed. And look, you place salary on someone's salary, embargo on someone's salary from July, whilst you are collecting salary and feeding your wife and your children. Is that fair?
So the reason they've had their salaries suspended is because they did not take part in the so-called professional learning community program.
The PLC program. How?
Is that not a government program that all teachers ought to roll on to?
Yes, but it's an activity that you do to earn points for your licensure. If the teacher does not participate, the teacher does not earn the points for licensure. What happens is that for the teacher to get those points for licensure, the teacher ought to go and pay money outside to do professional development activity to earn those points. How does this warrant embargo on salary when the teacher is known to have performed his official job in the classroom teaching?
Let's leave it here. Thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you.
That's Angel Kabonu. He's president of the National Association of Graduate Teachers, NAGRAT. Let's go on the other phone line and speak to Clement Apak, Honorable. He is Member of Parliament for Bulsa South and a member of the Education Committee of Parliament. You're welcome to Eyewitness News, Honorable. Hello? Honorable Apak, can you hear me? Hello, Honorable Clement Apak? Apologies, we'll try and reconnect to him. Let's go on the phone lines. The number Clement Apak. You're welcome to Eyewitness News, sir.
Yeah, good evening, Sander.
Good evening
to our listeners,
good
especially
evening.
my constituents in Bulsa South.
In Bulsa South, specifically?
Well, the capital of my constituency and district is called Fumbisi.
So the farmers of Fumbisi Valley.
Yes, the Fumbisi Valley is known for being the rice basket. Yes, that we are not harnessing it enough.
Very well. Let's not talk about rice tonight. Let's talk about education. Apparently, school reopens on Wednesday for Form 1 senior high school students. And yet, as we speak, we don't know who has made it to Form 1 in which secondary school. Very disturbing, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It is a very worrying development. But those of us in the sector are the least surprised. Just that we thought over the years we would have seen some improvements. Unfortunately, it looks as though as the years have gone by, situations have rather deteriorated. I mean, how is it possible that the results of the BECE candidates are published just about a week or less to a date that has been scheduled for them to report in school? This raises a number of concerns and issues. I want to believe that one of the reasons why the publication of the results have delayed is because of government's indebtedness to WAEC, which we have raised time without number. And government has failed to meet its obligations to WAEC timeously, which may then have affected the publication of the results. Even as we speak, I have been told, and I know same to be true, that the marks or result for one subject was not even included on the result slip of the students. The other challenge obviously has to do with the placement, as you have said. How are you going to place students in this very short window available between when the results have been published and when they ought to report in the schools that they have selected? Then you also have the challenge that parents would have to contend with. Parents obviously need to prepare their awards, buy provisions, buy the chop box, and some of them may even need to take time off their workplaces to accompany these young lads to the schools that they are ultimately going to be assigned to. Then you also have the situation where the headmasters and even the teachers would not have sufficient time to prepare towards receiving the students. You may not have seen the communique issued by Chad after his annual conference held in the Northern Regional Capital, Tamale. I have heard and I've read it that the challenges that we've been talking about bedeviling the smooth implementation of the Free Senior School are still abound. Matters of food and even the arrangements to ensure that sufficient quantities of food are available in the schools before the students arrive is also outstanding. So clearly, this government has failed in meeting its obligations, and this is why Ghanaians ought to vote for change so that we can reset and recalibrate the educational system in general, secondary education in particular, to eliminate this erratic and epileptic academic calendar that is creating so much anxiety for the students, for the parents, for the management of the schools, as well as the teachers. This cannot continue in the 21st century.
Now, you've talked about indebtedness to WAEC. I mean, WAEC releases results. WAEC has already done the releasing of the results. So I'm not sure how indebtedness to WAEC can affect this, because the next point is CSSPS, right? Computerized School Selection and Placement System, to release the details for students to go buy their trunks and chop boxes and move into school.
No, we are looking at the causal factors because there have to be reasons why this is happening. And one of the reasons I have proffered is because WAEC didn't release the results at the time that would have allowed for all of these proper arrangements to be made. And it is not because WAEC didn't want to. I know examiners have spoken to some who are indebted because government is not being dutiful in remitting WAEC. And when the examiners do not release the scripts and compile the results for WAEC to work on, how would WAEC then be able to process the results and publish them in good time? So I raised the issue of indebtedness to WAEC because it has implications for the time when the results will be ready for publication. That was why I raised it. But collectively, putting all that I've said together, this is a colossal failure, yet another embarrassing exposure of how badly this government is managing our education, and we keep calling them out, and it seems as though year in, year out, the situation is deteriorating.
I would have asked you how you can intervene as a committee, but alas, your whole house has been adjourned sine die. I don't know, where can the solution come from?
Well, the solution can come from all of us as Ghanaians. We ought to demand of duty bearers to dispense their responsibility to we the citizens. And we ought to call them out when they fail. Luckily for us, this is an election year. Ghanaians are sick and tired of the way and manner in which this government has managed every sector, including education. Ghanaians have the most authentic avenue to cause a positive change. And it is my belief that they will opt for change because this cannot continue.
Very well. Thank you so much. But for now, we'll just wait to see what happens by Wednesday. Thank you for speaking to us.
You are welcome, Sander.
That's Honorable Clement Apak. He's NDC Member of Parliament for Bulsa South. The Director General of the Ghana Education Service is Dr. Eric Nkansa. We called him before we came on air and asked him to speak to us. He said he would not speak to us. Instead, they would be issuing a statement by the weekend on this particular issue. But earlier in the day, we spoke to the spokesperson of the Ministry of Education, Kwesi Kwarteng. He said the list will come out by the weekend. Let's listen to him.
I'm not sure it's a problem. If you recall, WAEC just released BEC results. And even prior to that, the academic calendar had already been released to the public space so that parents can prepare accordingly. We are also much aware that before we are able to do the placement students to their respective selected schools, we rely on the data from WAEC. And so we got it, and the processes are far advanced. I am very certain that hopefully by weekend we should get the placement results out. But I think something is also very fundamental and important that I think is important that parents also get to know and understand that the fact that we are opening school does not necessarily mean that students are going to start full academic activities on that 30th. It's essentially an opportunity for students to visit their schools and to go through registration processes within the school premises, and of course also acclimatize with the school, go through process of orientation. And mostly we all know that takes a period of about 2 weeks even before full academic exercise takes place.
So that's Kwesi Kwarteng. He speaks for the Ministry of Education. So we wait this weekend. If the statement comes about the postings, perhaps you get to find out. Go print out your postings and go to your secondary school with your chop box and trunk. If you're not happy, you do self-placement, which is what happens sometimes. That would be it for Eyewitness News tonight. My name is Umaru Sanda Amado. I did this with Hawa Idrisu. The show was produced by Kwabena Wilson, Beverly London, and Sami Wiafe. Daniel Squashy and Thomas Obindako handled the technical side of the production. The new media team of 97.3 Citi FM handled the live stream that you've been watching. We'll be back on Monday at 17:30 GMT. However, if you want to follow more current affairs and news, 8 p.m. tonight on Channel 1 television, the Channel 1 Newsroom is on. And tomorrow at 9 a.m., Salam Kojo Adonu will be bringing you the big issue. But up next, I'm going to leave you in the hands of the Citi sports team. The team that is hot like Kivu Pepe, Mokosho, bringing you Sports Panorama. Benjamin Nketia, the hotter general, is in studio. Ben, what's up?
I can't believe that introduction. What's going on here?
Well, you are hot. The only thing I don't like about you is that you support Liverpool. That's the only disappointing thing about you. Because I'm happy that we are both my boys. We roll together.
I am not disappointed in you for supporting Man United.
Hey, man, Kennedy, don't reduce the volume. Nobody talks about United in public this season. We don't talk about United. Leave our United.
Oh, I'm sorry. Apologies.
You support Liverpool. That's the only downside to you. Everything else is okay.
Are you sure you don't want me to tell Bernard this?
No, Bernard is... Let's let it be. How are you?
I'm great. Always good to be here, actually.
What's happening tonight?
Sports Panorama. And I mean, just to